Hello everyone, Agion here, another Steel Division Normandy 44 replay. Spawned on the south side as the Scottish infantry, we have Fussel. Spawned on the north side as the Panzer we have captains. Note, this is a replay from the some sort of tournament. Yeah, I'm not so sure how the best stuff out of. I know there's multiple games are going to be splitting together. Of course, I can't really tell if they're all one-sided. It was best out of 5. Or if it's a very competitive best out of 3. But I'm going to go ahead and not try to spoil as much, so I'm probably going to be pasting these replays back to back in one large video. Probably add an anti-spoiler similar to how General's Gentleman does and some very other RTS groups. Either way, do got both sides are sending infantry along this line, but do got a honey steward along with an officer unit. Do got more infantry over here, but actually they're just Bren groups. They have mostly LMGs, and they're not exactly great for. There's also 2 supporting autocannons here. While the Stewart does have better versus fighting them, autocannons of course better against infantry. This mortar half-track will also be a problem. Luckily, he's garrisoning up these houses in the far so they can use their Brens at long range. We are going to see a smoke barrage. We're going to smoke out some of them. Very nice. Allowing some individual fire. Over here, we do got infantry assault, or motorized assault, I should say. Includes a command carrier. Command carrier does have a Bren, but can be ripped apart by this 222, along with the Panzerfaust. Rifle leader does in fact have Piets, and the range is, while this is 300, he needs to get within 200, so right around here-ish. So he needs to start moving forward. There is, however, a Churchill ARVE. This is one of the most heavier assault guns, not assault guns, HE vehicles in the game, especially in Battle Phase A with 15 armor. This Pack 38 will have trouble versus it unless it gets some very close range side armor shots or close range shots to the frontal armor. Basically needs to get close and close to have increased armor penetration. But these Bren groups are having a bit of trouble. Bren groups are not as effective in cities in comparison to Panzer Grenadiers. They both have 2 LMGs to bear on each side, but there's only 5 men. Is a bit of a problem. There are now autocannons moving forward. The Stewart is back behind the lines. Could actually see a very small line of sight there, but does not. Over here, just got some scattered infantry. I don't see any firefights just yet. Just setting up a front line for both sides. Looks like the Churchill ARVE made short work of the 222. Looks like spalling crew members, but the driver is spalling, but not the main gunner. But that is a huge loss. Losing that Churchill ARVE will be claimed by this Pack 38. There are some supporting autocannons moving forward, but there is a 6-pounder help warded away. It should be getting a line of sight now. Lining up the first shot, fires, tracks broken immediately, rendering it immobile, and then the second follow-up shot will destroy it. The honey steward was in fact taken down by the autocannons? No? Perhaps? I'm also not sure what took out that honey steward. Must have been the autocannon. It's down 100 rounds, but they could have been fired against infantry. That's the only thing in the area I can see to take it out. Unless there's some sort of AT gun in the area that I missed. But maybe the autocannon got a lucky penetrating shot. I cannot tell. Well, he's got a very long range shot. You got the Piets does climb a kill on that autocannon. Let's go ahead and once this game's over, I'll check the kill tab and see who actually took out the honey steward there. Damn, I should have got the name of the units, like the person name, so I can separate it from any other honey stewards, because there's most likely going to be others in the game, such as this one. Well, I don't see any Panzerfaust down, and he only deployed 2 sets of Panzer Grenadiers, if I remember correctly. Over here, you got a large push forward. Scottish infantry has gained more ground, though there are some tickets, but that is a very minor importance at this point in the game. Ooh, transmission damage already on that 222. And we'll get destroyed. That's losing 222. That is a potent amount of autocannons now down the drain. And you got this Bren group chasing down this Pack 38. May get it, may not. He needs to be off attack move, get on the edge of the forest and start firing. And again, if he gets to the edge of the forest, the Panzer Grenadiers can counterfire, which he may not even know that they're there. And with only 2 models, he can easily die. Ooh, nice smoke. That's what I'd like to see. tactical smoke, allowing this Pack 38 go on retreat. You can see these guys are very good at what they do. This overall, I'll say the cost-effective engagements are in favor of the Axis player captains, but he does not have the field control. Going for the more expensive Panzer Grenadiers versus these lighter Bren groups. He does have some rifles over here. I only have one Bren in comparison. Let's initiate attack beacon. Though they're both non-sighted units. Though he may have thought he saw a part of the recce eyeing, maybe he's here, maybe he's here. May hit over in direct fire. But luckily the command carrier will clean up that two-man reconnaissance unit as well. Burn group will be forced down. Looks like this mortar half-track has used up almost all of its ammo. Down to half smoke. Down to 20% HE. The autocannon 222 making short work of these riflemen. Afkalager trying to force the surrender, but he will get taken out thanks to this rifle group. Honey Stewart will become up forward to help take out that 222. Burning group, of course, didn't move forward, but they will get laid into by Panzer Grenadiers. Pack 38, oh, down to one member. This rifle group using the one Bren to hit that Pack 38. Doing some good hits, managed to eliminate one of the crew members, even though there are two members pulling it along, even though there's only one man left. Don't mind the slight graphical technicality. View control is still in favor of the Allied player at 51%. A bit of a axis bulge being formed along the center map, while the bulge is forming on the right and left side of the map for the Allied player. But this is about the halfway point, so not exactly a bulge, technically. More grounds being pushed forward. The spreading group's not applying any capture pressure, but these reinforcing infantry should fix that bulge. With reinforcing riflemen and with no reinforcing Panzer Grenadiers, these riflemen will slowly make their way, eliminating Panzer Grenadiers. The less economy currently by the Panzer Layer unit captains, he will have a bit of trouble actually in this part of the game. He can, though in the mid game, it will even out largely, and then in the late game, oh, this is not Panzer Layer, that's SS Panzer. Both SS Panzer. I don't know why I thought that was Panzer Layer. That's completely different. It's SS Panzer? We didn't see any capture Crombo or capture Firefly? That's unusual, but I don't mind seeing something different. You got, in the late game, he will have the income superiority. Only by a small margin. His opponent will sustain a much larger economy for the entirety of the game. In the end, it will help level it out, but he will still be behind in economy. Hopefully he can use more cost-effective units in order to help win engagements. Spread recruits can be quite potent. They do, of course, have 2 LMGs each. Well, of course, these Panzer Grenadiers do have 2 LMGs themselves, so they're one of the more potent infantry units. Though neither side of the units are veteran, these are the unveteran version of Panzer Grenadiers. But he does have plenty of autocannon support, giving him an ample amount of anti-infantry, thanks to the heavy cover of this unit, and plus this unit not firing. Panzer Grenadiers are more slotted to win that engagement. We got a 251 now pushing on forward. There's of course have 2 LMGs, but I think one of them is in fact a rear-mounted machine gun. Yeah, you can see the rear-mounted machine gun, which it is. No, that's just the bullets whizzing by. Never mind, it's not actually firing the rear mount. So he only has technically one usable machine gun, but it does share the same ammo pool, so it doesn't worry about one overpowering the other. This Honeysuit will force a immediate fallback on the unit, and will actually get gunned down without being shot out with the main gun. I don't remember if I've seen the main gun even firing. Did actually fire 3 in total, so maybe it did. Let me just look like it got gunned down. Another autocannon unit now being destroyed. There's a lot. This flank has been very prosperous for the Scottish infantry. But losing that Churchill ARVE has been a huge blow. But yeah, that Churchill ARVE managed to claim this flank early on, granting this all this early access pressure and additional tickets. And this tickets is what matters the most. Getting a good substantial lead in the beginning game really does help out. Due to having trouble engaging the frontal armor of the Honey Stewart, that's probably was the one that took out the other 222 before, or at least this unit anyways, or a unit. The large fact that every 100 meters it gets in closer, such as this, like it's about 200 meters closer, it can penetrate the frontal armor. With its high rate of fire, it gives multiple chances to penetrate the armor. So maybe it's a very lucky hit, because it has relatively low accuracy versus... But you only need... If you fire enough rounds, you will eventually get some hits. Now you got the captured Firefly now moving on forward with 16 armor penetration, 11 armor. There's hardly anything that can really engage it at this point in the game. There is, of course, a 6-pounder. Battle Phase B has been initiated for 1 minute, while this is a Battle Phase A unit, so it's a little bit later than you expect to see deployed, but he gets it now. So let's see how he uses it, and how effective, primarily. Abstract's down to 2 smoke rounds, better make them count. I think that was his smoke rounds there. I don't see any mortar unit by the allied player. And you got this rifleman in very close range with 2 SMGs to engage just 1 SMG. Now, plus many more men. You should make short work of it. We'll claim in now. There's some reinforcing pioneers. They do, of course, have 2 bundle grenades, 20 HE. Very effective grenades. Pioneers are very reliable, according to the community. So they can make short work of those riflemen. Firefly now moving forward. He won't do all too much in the city. He will have trouble pushing forward. However, he is facing against most units without use of access to AT. But however, this rifle leader does in fact have a Piet. So the first grenade has been thrown, wiping out the 6 members of the unit. Note the unit is all. This grenade's also incendiary. Did I somehow lock onto his camera? Huh. As you can see, this incendiary effect here. A little incendiary symbol, or does that mean just generally HE? Because you don't see that. No, that just means HE. At first I thought it could have been incendiary effect, because you look, this house is on fire like if it was an incendiary effect. Next grenade is reloading. I don't know if you need to reload a grenade. I'm not sure. Maybe it needs to bundle the grenades together. That's why it's reloading. We'll throw the grenade. Will he... Go to 7 men. Explodes. It rolls a large miss, however. Ooh, we got an aircraft out in the field. Looks like it was a Spitfire bomber. We dropped 1 or 2 bombs onto a designated target of his choosing. There's nothing here to intercept it. Not even AA to... Sherman Firefly did manage to get a penetrating hit on the Stewart. Forces a bailout. Sherman Firefly will line up another shot. Forces the fallback on a unit that's not even manned. We'll roll another miss. That bailed out unit has soaking up a lot of shots, preventing movement and Firefly until he kills it off. He could actually just ignore it. And we'll eventually get the kill on the unit. Not big surprise. That's not a big surprise. You got Churchill 5 now on the field. The little brother to the Churchill ARVE has only a 13 HE cannon versus the 30. Churchill ARVE is so much better, but this is probably much cheaper. It only has 9 armor, however, versus the 15 armor of the Churchill ARVE. Panther D now out on the field. This is the second medium tank. Well, the Firefly is more of a tank destroyer than a medium tank. But the Panther D, I would say, if you exclude the Firefly, debatable whether you could consider it as a medium tank, the Panther D is the first tank out on the field. No, first medium tank out on the field. Because there's plenty of Honey Stewarts, those are also tanks. Panzer 5 Panther. That is its designation, Panther 5. We got the Pioneers moving forward, of course, without any grenades. Okay, that was just the half track. I thought, did that Panther just go down? No. Half track does in fact go down by a Piet. Minor loss, really. Half tracks, they're great suppression platforms. They have little fear a reprisal from other infantry squads, unless they're getting into Piet range, or AT grenade range, or bazooka range, or AT gun range, or tank range. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that can kill them, but it doesn't have to worry about long-range infantry. The moment of quiet has fallen upon the field. I'm going to take this time to take a quick drink. You got a Bofors here in the central part of the map, so he's eyeing to prevent any loiters around the area. Good idea. You do also have a 25 pounder, so do have some heavier artillery compared to the mortar teams, and he is counter barraging that mortar half track, getting some good hits on or suppression damage onto the open blitz munitions, denying the resupply on this unit. However, he has quite a bit of ammo at the moment, so he doesn't have to worry about that all too much. Spitfire air superiority fighter is now out on the field, or flying out on the field, patrolling. It is not. I was going to say some sort of stupid Fallout New Vegas joke. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter, but that's very irrelevant. Never mind. You got a Zoom Pioneer team, so he is going to bring up some flamethrowers, and this is a very good angle engagement. If you can just go ahead and jump forward from, say, the church to this building here, it's a very powerful unit. We'll force the surrender on the Brent group, but make it hit by the suppression of the Churchill. This Churchill will be a bit of a problem. Spitfire coming in for a bomb and run. No Axis air units here to defend. The two may go down, but we'll just get suppressed and forced to fall back. Looks like that munitions truck was in fact destroyed. That's actually quite important. Now he has to reinvest getting some more munitions on the field. Granted, the mortar half-track does have plenty of rounds at the moment, but still a bit of loss. You would always want that munitions truck, just even to refill, say, these Panzer Grenadiers with this LMG ammunition. Panther D in a very unique position. He's eyeing to flank around in this avenue. I mean, he's supporting infantry. He does have some Stas troop in there for reconnaissance. You also have the Sherman Firefly now moving forward. He only has to contend with a Bren group, but that's nothing. Doesn't have any AT. You can always throw some frags at it, but haven't really seen that to be effective at all, except for open-topped units. Which, of course, this is not an open-topped unit. You got two Veteran C2 ME-109, so he does have quite a bit of air superiority at the moment. In fact, he has more air superiority. Overall, this seems like a pretty standard game. Both sides stay on the front line, neither side just slowly trying to make ground, not making for huge plays. Panzer Grenadier is in a very potent spot, but he's going to get area barrage, just trying to hit in general, but it looks like he's going to roll a bunch of misses. He thinks he's here, but he's actually here. And that's a very potent spot. These assault pioneers won't be able to do all too much. While they could try to run forward and throw some TNT on them, they still have to fight against two LMGs, along with a Sprute Firefly now moving forward. Butte. Oh, that gets instantly pinned down by these 4 LMGs. Granted, this unit's almost out of ammo, losing 3 of the members. In comparison to this unit and Soul Pioneers, Pioneers, of course, are, I think, 10 men in total, maybe 9. I forget the exact number. And Soul Pioneers do have 2 bundle grenades compared to this 1. So Pioneers are a bit more efficient. Granted, these Assault Pioneers are probably much cheaper. These are very good hits on the Panic Grenadier. Since they opened fire, they revealed their position, leaving them open to be zeroed in by the artillery piece. Panzer Grenadiers eyeing forward. Panzerfaust will claim that one unit. The Churchill does not have visioned area. These Panzer Grenadiers can go ahead and hop in this building. They may be able to get a Panzerfaust off. That would be a huge blow to his opponent's regional presence with that unit. He's eyeing for the building now. Looking in the building, lining up a Panzerfaust, reloading, fire, transmission damaged. We'll receive some counter hits. Currently reloading the weapon. But out of range now. And transmission damage on a Churchill means he will be moving as slow as a slug or molasses. Whatever, pick your slow object. Pioneers are starting to reclaim the area. This half-track rushing forward, but he will run into a Piet. It will make short work of it. ME-19, two ME-1, no, that's a Fussel 490 with 125 HE bomb. Trying to barrage the area. Do got air superiority fire here to intercept, but there is ME-19 here to support. Make the Fussel 490 as bait in order so he can get some good engagement. The two air superiority aircraft are going to engage, but a huge amount of suppression from the Bofors will force the aircraft back. Oh no! Not just, there it goes. Oh, that's a Tripulson, not a Bofors. Tripulson's a very good AT weapon. Now the Spitfires lining up on the 6 at Woven Sword Veteran, so he can make short work. And will splash on the Vet 2 unit. He should have brought in... Oh, I'm not so sure if he should have brought on another one. He will deploy a Whirlwind, eyeing for air, ground AA to help ward away any loitering aircraft, along with any bombers. You got Churchill Crocodile now moving on forward. With its fully active, fully functional main gun, 15 armor, very potent tank, along with having very good close range napalm, with a range of 260. In comparison to not bazookas, but Panzerschrecks have a range of 250, so it even outranges Panzerschrecks. That's probably why they made it a range of 260, precisely. Fuel control is currently 50-50, though I can't really say who has decisive who will win at the moment. There's still both sides' number of assets, but it just seems like to me that the allied player, Fussel, is in a better position at the moment. That's just my personal feel on the match. However, the Sherman Firefly is still on the field. We don't have any super heavy units, but we do have two 25-pounders. This is a significant amount of indirect fire. I think he can just slowly pick away against these units now, if he doesn't hit his own rifleman there. Couple bombs come down. He does evacuate the building in time. We'll still receive a couple models lost and pinned down, but they are still alive. This officer unit's still alive and ready to inspire. We've got some artillery being brought forward. Has the same range as 25-pounder, but being on a vehicle is much more resilient than a 25-pounder. You also got a Panzer II-C. This is not a Lux. This is the earlier version of the Panzer II. I think the Panzer II Lux is actually the Panzer II Model L, while this is the C, which has a slower autocannon, I think a higher armor penetration in comparison to the Lux in real life. Don't quote me on that, however. I'm no expert on every single German tank in the world. In the game. Well, not in the game. It's pretty easy to tell what they can do with like 4 armor penetration, 4 armor. Pretty good autocannon. It's the same autocannon as the half-tracks and the two. None of them left for comparison, however. Got this unit now lining up a shot. In comparison to the 25-pounder, they both have the same HE, less smoke, or AP with one of his shots. Does not have a Pinto mount. If you're using a Pinto mount on an artillery piece, something's wrong. There's some very good suppression here from this artillery piece. The Wisp. The W for German's more V, so Weisp. I think. I have no idea. If somebody can tell me how to properly pronounce it, it would be grateful, because I am horrible pronouncing anything, especially by reading. I think it's once again in favor of the Scottish infantry. He's slowly gathering victory. So we do got this Panzer II-C. Along with these Panzer Grenadiers, we'll actually make some good work on this rifleman. Bounce. There is, in fact, the honey here. The Panzer II is returning fire upon the honey, but not getting any suppression damage, so he needs an eye for a penetrating hit, but this range It's possible, actually. Weapon damage. There goes all the ammunition. He needs to mix it. Now he must fall back and get it to a supply truck. And he, once it gets another hit, forces the fall back. Will actually dance around with side armor, now reversing, spinning around, making a very good impression of Company Heroes 2 pathing before dying. Very good impression of Company Heroes 2. Firefly now moving on forward. The Panther has not done all too much, has fired a number of AP rounds with some HE. Minor effect. Looks like, oh, there is a 17 pounder here in return fire mode. And that will force the Panther away. The Panther will have a bit of trouble versus this unit heavy cover, and it has 2 stars of veterancy. If there's a nearby officer, it will have 3 stars in veterancy, making him an accuracy of 9. That's a very accurate gun. The Dingo used up all of its brand ammo. You should just see it for supporting, inspiring nearby troops. Not a whole lot of armor actually been deployed about by the Allied side. The Scottish infantry at this stage of the game, I believe, does have access to a bunch of cheap Shermans, and they do have access to a lot of Churchill variants, including the ARVE, Crocodile, 7 Officer, 6, 5. We saw that HE variant, like right here. Overall, very good and solid gameplay by Fussel. We got some a man from Shroom Pioneer moving forward, but he will get quickly wiped out. And that's a lot of fire upon Panzer Grenadiers. The supporting along with its multiple machine guns will help deny the city. This Honey's in a very good position. He's able to cover this central church when it was still standing. We do got this huge firefight. The Fokker 190 with the bombs does in fact go down. It's the air superiority aircraft, the Spitfire Mark II, and we'll get forced away by the AA, but we'll get away alive. So that all that really matters. Reinforcing Panzer IV helps support, but the 17 pounder with no shots fired will provide a huge problem. Though the Stuart Remy, if his opponent is really seeing the Stuart Remy, may get a tip off that in fact there's a 17 pounder nearby. Not many units actually pulls the 17 pounder. So Stuart Remy, being an actual unit that stays behind left over, will actually give a good indicator there is a 17 pounder. Panther D is lining up a shot upon the Stuart Remy, but will not get the shot off. 17 pounder lining up a shot onto the half track, looks like. He is lining up a shot but not firing. Might as well keep its secrecy rather than trying to destroy that unit. Panther D lining up a shot on top. You can come to the Stuart Remy. Oh wait, no, it's over here. Hitting this MMG carrier with 2 MGs. It can be a quite potent transport. Here we go. That Panzer 2C was eventually cleaned up. By comparison, it with this autocannon unit, that has the same AP and HE, and about the same amount of ammo. Slight difference. Panther D has been spotted. He's starting to strafe it, bomb it, eyeing for suppression. We'll get enough suppression to force the fallback, just stalling it ever so more. 17 pounder isn't in range. No, it will not come into range. There's a line of sight block in its way. Wolverine now out on the field for Tinker Story, but it won't be able to really fight against Panther D. We can easily fight the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV more slotted to win with more AP. And at 2 stars versus this 1 star, so it has a very accurate main gun. Firefly is still alive, so that's a pretty good unit preservation there. I think this maybe the actual. Nope, he has not actually. Don't think I've actually seen a tank deployed from the tank tab. This is from the support tab. This is from the tank destroyer tab. Churchill Crocodile. Now it's going to move forward. Fired off 3 AP rounds. Sherman Firefly hitting it from its side armor. They're both in pretty good range. They both have very good armor penetration, but the Sherman Firefly with is much higher armor penetration. Will infect the kill on the Churchill Crocodile. Honey Stewart is still alive just behind the Tripolston. Panther lining up shot on. Looks like perhaps on the infantry, yeah, hitting the Assault Pioneers. Overall, very quiet game. We do got a Tiger Ace now out in the field. Tiger E. Whitman. I'm not exactly sure what the Axis player should do in a reorder game. He's SS Panzer, so his aircraft slots are very limited. He's calling the Focke-Wulf 190s for various bombing runs, help solving up his opponent. But this is still not enough. His opponent has plenty AA, a lot of air superiority fighters, in fact 3. So the air game is still in favor. He is starting to fly over whirlwind fire, but you can always fall these guys back, no problem. Austria may in fact take out the 6-pounder with the nearby officers at currently 3 stars of veterancy, and these allied units are starting to be cleaned up, so they're starting being pushed forward by the Axis player. In order to actually win the game, he needs to basically get a +3 or +4 tickets now, which that's a tall order. His opponent still has an ample amount of forces, so starting to lose a bit of his assets. So he has a 17-pounder here, so he has plenty anti-tank at the moment. He actually needs more anti-infantry. There's still the Churchill, but against these hedges and transmission damage, he won't be able to do all too much at the moment. Versus designated infantry assault. If he gets too close to the forest, he's very susceptible to Panzerfausts. Panzer 4 plus versus Churchill Crocodile. Churchill Crocodile with its 15 armor will be slaughtered to win, since he will not be able to receive any penetrating hits at max range. Panzer 4 using multiple bounce in return, however. Sort of a bit of a shame. He does have quite a bit of armor penetration advantage. Only about 3. We've got the flamethrower, but the Crocodile will fire its shot and destroy that whirlwind. Panzer Grenadier eyeing for the Panzerfaust. He has to be very careful not get burned by the frontal mount flamethrower. Lining up the No, he's not lining up the Panzerfaust. He's hitting the infantry unit. Huge problem right there. $17-pounder. The Panzer IV is getting to very close range. Lining up the first shot. The Panzer 6-pounder have very accurate, especially that range, and very high armor penetration. Almost, I think he has 100% armor penetration chance. We'll take out that Panzer IV with little no problem. Nearby officer will help inspire this Tiger Ace with 3 stars of veterancy. Panther D eyeing for a shot. He could try to do a pincer on this Panzer on the 17-pounder. With this orchard here, it's very hard for his Tiger tank to get any work done versus it. There's also a 6-pounder here, which at close range can easily penetrate the Tiger armor. Looks like got a bit of dogfight forward, but the Tripolston will force the fall back, and now we do got the Spitfire eyeing for engage, but flying over whirlwind, but forcing reload over that moment, very crucial, but will not get the suppression, nothing to save the MB-109 as MB actually will escape. I'm sort of surprised actually managed to escape. You got a Challenger coming on out. Challenger is equipped with a 17 pounder and it's for a main gun. However, only has 7 armor because it uses a Cromwell body. So imagine a Cromwell with a 17 pounder. It is a Challenger. Weapon damage upon the half track is a minor concern. This stage of the game, early game, getting at that would be quite annoying. French grenadiers are unable to push forward. The Tiger Ace is still in the area. The Tiger Ace has no chance to be destroyed by these riflemen run group because they have no source of AT. But the 25 pounders may be able to get something done, or at least force it back with HE. Oh, looks like Captain has surrendered, realizing it was a lost game. Oh, with that, I'm curious, what killed that? Holy crap, 6 pounder claimed all of these units. ARVE only claimed 2 units. And let's see, losses. Now, this is what I'm looking for. Well, let me just see if there's any huge outliers. Got quite a bit of work from the Wolverine, actually, claiming. They claimed the artillery piece? I didn't even see that artillery piece coming in close range of Wolverine. Man, I missed that. But let's see what took out that Honey Stewart. Yes, it was in fact the autocannon. Very nice usage. Getting a very lucky penetration at it, really. But this is Agion saying thank you for watching, and on to game number 2. Hello everyone, Agion here of game number 2. Between the allied player Fussel versus opponent Captains. This is, of course, the second game's tournament match. And while they have chosen different factions, and that's not sure the exact rules of this tournament, do have now Captains playing as the Normandy, and we have Fussel playing as the Indian Head, the second infantry. So we have Rangers versus Truppen and Fallschirmjägers. This map just screams Wargame Red Dragon to me with this very hilly landscape. This map just screams infantry early game, hence why they both went for Rangers and Normandy getting the Fallschirmjägers and Truppen. In fact, in this time now, the Axis play will have a bit more income, but will be rectified in the end. As soon as the game goes to the full 40 minutes, will be evened out at the end of the game. We got a lot of 2-man Fallschirmjäger Flammenwerfers, supported by Fallschirmjägers and Truppen here. Over here, we do got a nice defensive line. You got the AT gun, Truppen. Yeah, I read that name right. Along with field gun and officer, just a various defense. It is at around the 50% mark. The 50% mark is in the middle, about middle of no man's land. Field control is still 50-50. With all these Ranger assaults, they're with a nearby officer. They have 3 stars of veterancy. They are very potent. We do got fighting fire with more fire, which is fighting fire. And when there's smoke, there's fire. Fire! Sorry, too much usage of the word fire. And in fact, now actually these flamethrowers are now completely out of ammo on the Truppen. That's a huge problem. Granted, these Ranger assault groups do in fact have 2 SMGs, the Thompsons. They can still be quite a bit of firepower, but that is a huge problem. Out of all that, they're out of fire, they're out of fuel. You also have an early artillery piece. It has a full 2,400 meter range. Very good AoE at 29 meters at 9 HE. And you get the flame down, the Flammenwerfer doing some work, using its advantage of ammo and fuel, more like fuel than ammo. However, there's still one more Ranger assault group using the smoke to support. Now throwing in, actually using its Grands, not even its Thompsons. Of course, they have 3 Grands versus 2 Men's. I don't really say that very often, but they do have a very good engagement there. Flying Warfare Team versus Ranger Assault Group. They ran out of fire. Now the Flying Warfare Team is now have the advantage, forcing the pin down. We'll start burning that men alive. 1 member versus 6 or 4 men. However, we do got this nice Ranger Assault Group now here to respond, help support. This unit needs to go forward and force the surrender perhaps, but gets taken by the mortar team. That mortar team very critical at this moment. They got the MG34 doing some good pin, actually fighting against an M1919 MG. I also drink a bit of energy drink at the moment. I don't usually drink energy drinks very often, so actually I don't drink much caffeine at all. So caffeine actually can be used as a stimulus, proper stimulus for me. We are the Cape week. I just got done with full days of work, and so I'm a little bit tired, but this is perking me up. So I'm basically like a gerbil on caffeine, I guess. I don't know. Caffeine speaking right now. Wow, we do have this mortar team. It's only 60mm. 60mm. It doesn't have the greatest of fire power. It does have 6 HE 24mm AOE, but this is a full-blown artillery piece, granting more potency and support. But hitting this team over here, this mortar team is almost out of ammo anyways. Time on target. We do got an early 210mm barrage coming on in. This can be very potent. It all depends how the shots roll. And there's enough Flaming Warfare teams here to defend, along with a Fallschirmjäger to prevent any sort of infantry assault, or mechanized unit assault. Which there is this WC-25 moving on forward, so may get a good hit there. I'm not sure what's in it. Oh, Ranger Assault Group. Fallschirmjägers may actually find good engagement if they're out in the middle of the open field versus flamethrowers. It's something I don't say very often, but it is a possibility, using the potency of their 2 LMGs along with their G43s. The barrage is now starting to come on in. Ranger Assault Group not in flamethrower range, will get pinned down by the barrage, and reinforcing infantry now coming on in. Over here I heard a lot of rifle fire. You seem to be reinforcing units, and you also got an M7 assault gun. Not assault gun, but field gun. Support gun? Now moving forward. It's not the artillery variant. It only has a range of 1,200 meters. Half the range of a full-blown artillery piece. It would be a great support gun in order to hit enemy infantry in place positions. This unit is getting forced back. Flamethrower. This unit having actual ammo for its flamethrower will force the pin and fall back on the unit, but he has to be very careful not to walk over the fire himself, receiving damage there. It's a very specific number for SMG ammo. Either way, the S-Shot Trooper will be forced back. We've got a Ranger support group up moving forward. They do, of course, have 2 LMGs, along with a decent amount of Grand and even a carbine helps for additional fire support. So this is a very potent ranged support squad. Now these mortar teams are laying into the squad. Actually, we do got a 107mm mortar. This has a pretty good amount of range at 1,600 meters compared to the 900 meters. Able to fire support in this far area. Maybe this field gun should start hitting it. Well, counter barrage. Fallschirmjäger swinging out wide, avoiding the flamethrowers. In fact, this flamethrower still has full ammo, but it can't use it if it's dead. Very good usage of these Fallschirmjäger Flaming Warfare teams. But now receiving multiple mortar fire, even close range of mortar fire, forcing the pin and falling back. You got a T-30 half-track mortar carriage. It does, of course, have AT and HE. We've got another time on target now coming on in from this call-in unit. Currently, allies still have the ticket advantage at 51%, but it's a very minor advantage. This game is still anybody's favor. Battle Phase B will be initiated in 2 minutes. We do also got a Panzer III. Command Panzer III now moving on forward. This is a reasonable tank. It has 8 armor penetration. However, this T-30 can penetrates frontal armor. There's nothing else here. There is a bazooka team here. You got Ranger Marauders here. They are also a reconnaissance unit. You only have a range of 200 meters, while this Panzertruck team has a range of 250. Though it does have 3 SMGs, while this squad does have 4 SMGs, so they have a good amount of close range protection. My target comes in. Last of the units in the area has been cleaned up, but this also now is supporting cannon fodder Struppen, which did a great job of consuming all that flamer ammo. They really what did won this game for the Axis player, having Struppen consumed or receiving all that flame damage. I don't see that very often. Command Panzer III now moving on forward. Nothing really here to engage it. However, this T-30 lining up a shot, but is not to the Panzer III, even though it is in range. It doesn't have line of sight. There's a whole forest and a slope here. We'll start hitting this Struppen and the Jägers. We got some reinforced infantry. Machine gun team is probably a very good idea, but not exactly great versus these close range engagements. Ranger support groups may have been a better option. The Command Panzer III now rolling on forward. I think for mid-game units for Luftland, I think he only has access now to Stugs. Don't quote me on that. I don't know these units on the back of my who has what on the back of my hand, other than some unique variants. I love these. How I choose my not doctrine but faction battle group to choose as. I wanted to go for unique option, unique units. For example, I look at Indian Head because they have Rangers. The only squad units that have Rangers. I like to look at the Canadians because they had the Mosquito Pathfinder. This is such a glorious aircraft, in my opinion. And plus they had also the Ram Kangaroos. I just like the Canadians. They have so many unique pieces of hardware to bring to the game. Plus the Ram 2. The Ram 2s are great, especially in the early game, in the Battle Phase A. This looks like the same artillery truck call-in, or artillery jeep call-in. So you can go ahead and he has done 2 fire support missions, so he probably has only 1 more left. You also got some ammo here for the field gun. Field control is still in favor of the allied player. There's nothing much here really to gauge this Panzer III. However, let's see. 3 stars of veterancy is quite a bit, but only has an accuracy of 4, so it has an effective veterancy of 7. But this unit, accuracy of 4 also, with 0 stars of veterancy. So this T-30 may be more slotted to win, and it has much less armor, and the armor penetration is not exactly the highest. It's also hurtless, so if he were to move out then to rotate and fire, the Panzer III will have the initial shot. Of course, it still can go either way, and now we may see engagement soon. And in this medium range, the Panzer III will basically have pretty much 100% penetration rate. Look at the T-30 now lining up a shot in this general direction. We'll be hitting the Struppen Ranger assault group with its flamers who will start rushing on in. And we'll now run into the Jägers. They do have a lot of flamethrower ammo left. Jägers, of course, have much more suppression. In fact, they get out suppressed and will get pinned down. The Jägers will actually surrender at close range thanks to the light cover versus the heavy cover of the Jäger. I see that's what pretty much keyed it. Panzer III, rear armor being shown, but it's not necessarily going to get some good hits there or any line of sight. I'm keeping a pretty close eye on that area. Over here, it doesn't look like all too much is happening. You got also Ju-88 with 2 25 HE bombs, 2 big bombs coming on in. Will carp on the area, doing minor, a lot of losses in the Ranger Marauders, but overall very large miss. However, got an ace out on the field, the P-47 Gabby. Franciscus Gabrielski. Sounds Polish. Francis Gabrielski. Not sure what his nationality is, but he's playing as United States, so most likely he is United States. The rich cultural pot of the world, where almost every sort of nationality has influenced United States culture. Most anyways. Panzer 3. This is current line of sight. Doesn't have much line of sight at the moment. He's pushing through the orchard, trying to eye for the T-30. Almost just got out of range. At this range, both of them have very good accuracy, and he will back at the first shot off first. He's not turned in the proper direction. Will get the kill. That is critical. There's no other AT in the area. No other than this one bazooka. That's it. Now this Panzer III has a huge amount of work. He's actually starting hitting this 107mm mortar. He's starting to reposition it now. He now have 2 field guns on the field, so he has a major amount of artillery. He's starting to push forward. The field control is still favored the Allies, however, at 51% and changing back and forth between 50%. There is actually a command Sherman here, 9 armor, so the Panzer III needs to get into close range in order to penetrate its frontal armor. Another Panzer III is here. He's trying to retreat back behind this line of sight blocker here. He needs to start rotating to the right. Sherman will not get a second shot off, but he made himself briefly visible, but he let Sherman start repositioning himself. May see HS-129 or Ju-87 in order for strafing the command Sherman. It is a possibility. Panzer III is actually still hitting this mortar team. Not getting any really good hits at the moment, however. AA half-track now moving forward is an M16. It has equivalent of a quad 50? Yeah, quad 50 caliber machine gun. Good suppression platform. Good anti-infantry. Not great versus a point-blank Panzer III. This Wember's Volkswagen doing a force recon before it dies. Maybe trying to eye for Panzerfaust and Sherman, but will get quickly annihilated by the Ranger support group. Actually, by the Sherman itself. Panzer III lining up a shot. No pushes onto a rifle leader. Ranger leader. Sherman tank eyeing to engage the Panzer III. Though the Sherman is slotted to win, he is actually within 200 meters. Allowing penetrating hits. They see each other. Sherman Panzer III made back at the first shot. No, they're not firing. I'm not sure why they're not firing. You got a Xylophone out coming in with a large saturation of barrage. Rolls a large miss, however, apparently, but we'll get nice suppression. Ooh, bazookas managed to take out the Panzer III. That is a big loss. Now he's just down to 1 Panzer III. Oh, he did get built a second one. But we need to see more aircraft support. We've got a large amount of artillery support, that's for sure. But as Luftwaffe, he does have access to a lot of aircraft. He needs to start bringing them to bear. As that Ju-88 may be off, ready to fly again. I can't really say from spectator view. I wonder if I'm getting any pixelation. I actually lowered my bitrate to save up some space, but hopefully not. I forgot to realize increase back up. We got the Panzer III not getting hit by the Sherman tank, rolling multiple misses of accuracy 4 is very poor accuracy. We'll get multiple bounces and fall back. It's a bit of a shame the Sherman tank couldn't take it out. It does have an accuracy of 4 as well, so not a great amount of accuracy, but it has 2 swords and veterans, so effective accuracy of 6. This Panzer III taking Company Heroes 2 route on reverse moving. We got another field gun moving forward, so we do have 3 field guns out on the field. That is a lot of firepower. Using Kubo munitions, not exactly the greatest munitions, only have 5,000. But with enough of them, you can always resupply everything. As they may come in line of sight of the Sherman tank once again, that is not ideal. You got a Marauder 2 now moving them forward. It only has 3 armor, which is a bit of a problem, but does have a pretty good range. Bugged plane. Looks like Captain's has a bugged plane at the moment. I can't really say what type of plane. May have been that Ju-88, which is a significant problem. That is the problem. Well, of course, is the problem. Panzer 3 once again forces the fall back, not getting good penetrating hits. We'll get weapon damage there, destroying all the ammo, which is a bit of a problem. And I think it was seeing enough HE damage. You can see it as a very damaged state, so it's actually susceptible to even to HE damage, such as bombs. Sataphone goes down to the Panzer 3 over here. That's a huge blunder, losing artillery piece like that. And you got an ME-109 with rockets. 2 rockets now moving forward. Will force quite a bit of pressure on the Sherman tank. Will not get the kill, however. We do got the ace not coming in, trying to hit has very little chance for reprisal. Will be forced back, but he will force retreat anyways. The ace once again claims another kill. We got another Sherman moving forward. It is an amphibious Sherman to cross all of this water on the map. Actually, note that looks like a river, but in fact it is a slope. The Marauder 2 moving on forward. This Marauder 2 is also moving forward. Marauder 2s have a very good range of 1,200 meters, while the Sherman's 1,000, 1,000. Overall, while the Axis play had sustained very good gains in the early game with the Flame Assault, not be able to good position, not be able to gain a good amount of work with his Panzer 3s, and I think that Ju-88 providing not be able to come back out again really is hampering quite a bit. You got some allied AA units moving on forward. This may be a Bofors. That looks like a Bofors to me. M3 Scout will be forced back due to flamethrowers. Apparently, cars, open-top cars, doesn't like to be hit by a flamethrower. I don't think you want to be inside your own car getting hit by a flamethrower either. Pack 36 hitting this M20 utility car, not even getting any good hits, but we'll get a penetrating hit there, along with the 2 bundle grenades into it, or at least a bundle grenade. Sherman tank inside this foresty area along the orchard, making these Marauder 2s very hard to gain any good angles upon it. And if the Marauders 2 move forward, they will get instantly taken out by the Sherman tank with its higher armor penetration being a 100% accurate, pretty much at that range. And plus they have a turret. We got another rocket run. We do got our radio call in. Ooh, he saw it. He tried to make a strafe run into it, but rolls a miss there. Good try. And do got this aircraft receiving a lot of AA fire and causing the smoke. This P-4 just needs a brief burst into it. 850 cows will not claim it. Will be forced back before he gets the kill. Rolling a lot of misses also. Bit of a shame the ace couldn't gain another kill. Time on target coming on in. We'll hit the AA weapon. 37 is a very potent anti-aircraft weapon. And most of them will claim this one-man Storm Pioneer. Panzer 3, apparently this one was the one that received the ammo destroyed causing him to have no more ammo. He could go ahead and fall back to these cool munitions just to give it some ammo, making getting some use out of it. Even just a handful of rounds can be quite helpful to make it not dead weight. You got some Axis infantry assaulting over here, eyeing to secure it, which is largely has been untouched, and responding immediate reinforcing of a couple dozen men. Various M20s will in fact get cleaned up. Minor loss. A munitions truck now out on the field. What's better than a munitions truck? One that's amphibious. Carrying a 15,000 in comparison like the Kupferwagen 5,000, so holds 3 times the amount. But I think it's only available in Battle Phase B, if not C. Pioneers using the 1 LMG, thanks to the heavier cover in this rifle team, does in fact have 2 LMGs, but thanks to the supporting MG34, even with 1 member forcing the surrender down. This Wolverine now is here to move forward, along with some indirect fire. The Wolverine will make short work of these units. Looks like this machine gun's down to 1 member. It looks like he folded back from these buildings here, but it looks like those reinforcing infantry will help reinforce the line. Yeah. Wolverine will make short work of this. Pioneers may get some work done. It is an open top unit, and these bundle grenades can be quite devastating. All depends how lucky he gets. Looks like he's running out of ammo across various units. This field gun has plenty of ammo. This one's completely out, except for some AP, along with the Panzer III. This Panzer could go ahead and just take a quick kill on that M3 Scout. Currently still in the hold fire stance. The 25 meter mark will actually cover this road. This is a very good position. He covered just enough so he can cover the road. Very good position, and thanks to the angle in the road, he's covering up the entirety of the road for quite a bit of distance. Very good position. I would have moved a little bit more, but that's just my personal preference. Looks like a reinforcing rifles is the option. Rifles, they have 0 stars of veterancy, of course 2 LMGs and 12 members. Very hard to deal with 12 members. And there's also still a range of support groups, or at least a range of support group, which is 2 stars of veterancy along with 2 LMGs. This area is very well defended. Though a bit lacking AT, but Luftwaffe does not have access to a whole lot of vehicles. Well, tanks primarily. Two 107 millimeters, 3 107 millimeters. Too bad that xylophone went down. Oh, that's not a 107 millimeter. That's a Bofors. Whoops. Ocean Jaegers are here. If they can deal with these rifles, they can run forward and throw a Panzerfaust on this Command Sherman, and then be ready for the next Sherman tank. In fact, they did pin down those riflemen, but those mortars are going to rain down upon that squad. We'll force the pin down. Now these Sherman tanks will have little fear of reprisal versus the unit. Dickinson still in favor of the Allied player at 52%. Overall, very good gameplay once again by Fussel. Captains, I would have thought he was going more slotted to win with that huge, very good engagements in the early game, but not able to have enough steam, not accessing to more medium tanks. The Panzer III is almost a heavier version of a light tank, or a very light medium tank. You got some more torpedo. Why do I keep on thinking that torpedoes? More rocket runs now coming forward. This Sherman tank is the candidate of choice. We'll actually wipe out the nearby rifleman squad. The P-47 Ace is now responding, but he will fly over this Flak 36 and won't be able to secure the kill. You got another radio operator vehicle coming on in. He's eyeing to barrage the area. I'm just going to take a quick look at these Shermans. This one has sustained quite a bit of fire. You can see the damage, all that HE damage. So he's actually susceptible of perhaps being taken out by the next rocket run. This field gun needs ammo, but he may be out of couple munitions. He has already spawned in 3 of them. Now my target being called on in. We'll hit this command Sherman and perhaps even the command M3, but that's about it. Pack 40's out on the field. Pack 40 does of course have some HE rounds. We also got some infantry assault coming on forward. It looks like multiple Pioneer squads. Pioneers are not in range of the bundle grenades. But we'll have supporting Marauder shots hitting the 12-man squad. Flame team will go ahead and fall back behind the building to allow them to draw their opponent in closely in order to start flaming them down and burning them alive. This radio operator vehicle is out of ammo, so he won't be able to call anymore. We'll have time on target over here. We'll only be eyeing to hit that one Jaeger commander. Minor loss if he does go down. Ranger assault group looks still out of flamer range. Looks like some of this allied front is coming down, and we do have the reinforcing infantry going through the time on target. This is very dangerous. We'll deploy down one, losing 25% of the men there. We'll force the fall back. As a bit of a problem. Now his forward pressure is not that great until they call out of the suppressed state. We've got 2 T-30s over here. That is an ample amount of support. You also, but there is a Marauder too. This Pack 36 is only down to 1 member, so it's about very low chance of him actually doing all too much. Another rocket run coming on in, eyeing for the munitions duck. Will not get the kill. P-47 Ace now coming on in with all the AAs aboard. The aircraft was in fact splashed down. Couldn't really tell you who on earth actually was awarded the kill. Time target was called in, but it was cancelled. Targets over here where the mortar team is along the munitions duck. Marauder will be forced back to the rocket run with the P-47. We had now 2 air supported fighters. Like I said, bugged aircraft mentioned before was in fact that Ju-88. That is a massive loss. Granted, he probably wouldn't be able to go in for 1 or 2 more runs before the Ace would have killed him anyways. But if he would have done a couple more bomb rounds, he could have picked off some multiple enemy units. In fact, the lost income is also huge. Looks like he's trying to push forward, but he will get pinned down. Or the Pioneers actually managed to break through. The Ranger support group only able to hit the Estros troop, and the Rifles did manage to recover the suppression. But the Rifle Pioneers will get pinned down now. P-47 Ace is still patrolling. There are 2 MB-109s ready to engage. I'm on target being called in. Fallschirmjägers will be able to go out the circle in time. There is a Ranger Marauder group now approaching, trying to eye for the Panzer III. He has to be very careful not to go out of the forest. He has line of sight of it now, approaching in range. Accuracy is 7. It doesn't have vision at the moment, is in range. Lining up a shot, actually hitting the operator truck, the Kubel. And now he knows about it. He's reloading, lining up a shot. Fire! No, he didn't fire against the Panzer III. However, the time on target may in fact force it. Whoa. Actually, may in fact kill it. Look at this Panzer III. It is blackened by bombs, HE. I think this is the one that had the ammo depleted. The bazooka team does get killed by the Fallschirmjägers thanks to the nearby FG-42s along with the Gewehr fire. Marauder supporting these Storm Pioneers, but Marauders are not good for HE. In fact, he's all out of HE, using his pinto mount of all the things. This artillery gun is moving around. Of course, it does have AP. If you would have actually targeted the Wolverine, he may have gotten the kill. With a range, with an accuracy of 5 with 1 star, he did, and with medium range, I say it's around 70 to 80% accuracy. Panzer III and Wolverine firing. The Panzer III is slotted to lose, will be forced back. Marauder engaging another target as well. Marauder lighting up a shot now, but will get killed by the Wolverine. Losing multiple assets like that is not a good sign. AK-40 is in the area. It does have a line of sight there. Lining up a shot. Fires. And will get the kill on the Wolverine. But there's still quite a bit of presence here by the Allies. A couple of pinto mounts. The Pioneers do, of course, have the 2 bundle grenades. Froze out the first one. This rifleman is dead. Field control is currently 50-50, but in order to win the game, he needs a +4 or +5 at the moment. With 4 minutes 30 seconds left, that's not a whole lot of time. Nice HE to cover his own retreat away from the Panzer III. Fallschirmjägers may still get the kill. They do have a number of LMGs, and of course the Panzer III have pretty good line of sight for at the moment. We've got this large push forward. The Allied presence is very weak here, but with him pushing right here, victory is assured at the moment by the Allied player. He currently has major victory. We got ME-19s here to engage. We may see the Ace coming forward along with perhaps a wingman. We got finally an HS-129 coming on out to deal with the Allied armor. However, maybe a bit too late. The P-47 Ace isn't going to engage the HS-129. Will force the fallback on its first straight. Initial rocket P-47 rocket aircraft is here to support. Though we do got an ME-19 on the Ace's tail. The rocket P-47 needs to help support. Needs to get a little bit more suppression. Looks like a Flak 88 is now on the field. Fine, very good suppression, but this nearby Bofors will help save the P-40s, the Ace, from getting shot down. All the units are currently in the fallback state. The HS-129 managed to escape from the P-47 rocket. Of course, I can't fire the rockets against it. However, I just call it the rocket aircraft because its currently equipped loadout is rockets along with 850 caliber machine guns. Panzer III will get killed off by this M10. Panzer III just can't hold a candle to Sherman tanks and Wolverines. They probably can hold a candle. Give them some lights so that they can read their books. Either way. The Flak 88 is at 2 stars in veterancy and is a very potent AT gun with accuracy, base accuracy of 7, so it has a base accuracy of 9. Get an officer unit nearby have a base accuracy of 10. I think that's 100% accurate. That is a very, very lethal weapon. E-38I-2 is more of an interceptor, even though it's air superiority, or at least guns, will be forced to fall back. We do got an ME-19 here to engage, which will splash him down almost immediately thanks to the nearby Flak 3688. Sherman tank plus versus Panzer III at close range. With Sherman tank does manage to get the first shot off first, which resulted in the kill. We do got this Panzer team. He is in range of the Sherman tank. He needs to realize it. Put it off, prioritize fire. He has 2 Sherman tanks in range. He doesn't realize it also. This unit could wipe out multiple Sherman tanks, but the game's pretty much already over at 45 seconds left. We will actually fire off a shot now. Now reloaded. We'll kill off 1 Sherman tank. We'll be lining up another one. Reloading. Needs to dance around in order to get away. Man, that unit's actually quite fast. The Allied assault over here largely failed, though gaining some ground thanks to this one man. With 10 seconds remaining, looks like the Allied player is once again your champion. This game does have, in fact, this tournament series does in fact have a 3rd game, so I'll go ahead and just go on to game number 3. With game number 3, at least that's what's labeled, not game number 3. On the bottom side as the once again Scottish infantry. Wait a second. They have switched side. Now we have Captain, who's been playing Axis, is now himself the Scottish infantry versus his opponent Fussel as the 12th SS Panzer Grenadier. 12th? No, 17th. Damn it. I always get those numbers mixed up. Got the SS Panzer Grenadier versus the Scottish infantry. Both of them, one more mechanized, the other one more infantry, along with big Churchills. We got various units now moving forward. Amphibious jeeps, along with some field gun and an early Stug. Stug with officer support is at 3 stars of veterancy. Various defensive infantry here. But he's going to be facing a full-blown assault along with a Honey Stewart for support and a 2-inch mortar. This is a huge assault, may catch him way off guard. We got various defenses here, but only 1 rifleman here for defense. If he were to push forward, he can easily climb it, but of course, you can't really tell in the fog of war. Axis is controlling and field control at 52% +1. Economy is in favor, however, of the Allied player at 85 to 75. Then favored in the mid game and in the late game by 5+ each. So in the end, the total at the end of 40 minutes, the economy will actually equal total income anyways. Of course, the early game matters just as much as the late game. You got tracks broken thanks to this nearby AT gun. There are also some SS Storm troops, however you probably pronounce that. I think it's equivalent to stormtroopers. You got multiple Bren groups here. All 1-star veterancy, along with commander, it will be 2 stars of veterancy. There is only here a stormtrooper, which can be quite potent versus at close range, especially with these Bren groups. So these Brens cannot fire upon as they get closer and closer, and these guys just annihilate units at close range. You even have some smoke grenades to help them close the gap. Churchill 5, not Churchill ARVE, is in the center. We'll be fighting against a Stug. The Stug has a 14 arm penetration, so it's more slotted to win. Fires the first shot, wounds out penetrating cannon, causing the death of that crew member. Very decisive initial shot. That is a huge loss currently for the allied player. There's nothing here to really defend against this. He does have some Panzerfaust. 5 Panzerfaust is quite a bit. But these units have not been revealed yet. MG42 has suppressed these nearby units. They could rush forward, quickly annihilate this Bren group, could chase down this other Bren group. There's also smoke here by the allied player, so you can go ahead and target some smoke here to help cover his own advance and storm them down. The Stormtrooper is in great position to ambush. It will quickly annihilate those 4 members. These members are getting annihilated along with some SMGs. Forces surrender there. He's need to throw a smoke grenade here. He throws a smoke on top of himself. Very nice. He's also this nearby mortar team is trying to barrage them down. He's currently microing this stormtrooper. We got some reinforcing infantry here eyeing for an assault. But these units does get pinned down by this Bren group. Bren group does in fact have 2 LMGs along with this command carrier. So there's 3 LMGs hitting this unit. Will be forced to fall back. They move quite quickly so they can get behind this into this forest cover soon. They're only down to 2 members. They can't do all too much. They need at least 3 members. I believe they have 3 PPSHs. If PPSH is even nearer, he can hit something. Quote from Kamirs to conscripts. We got this Honey Stewart here getting hit by the field gun, but field gun has no HE. Actually made from the Stug. I wasn't sure which. Field control is still favored the Axis player at +1. Overall, very good gameplay in previous game by Fussel. Captains have lost. Currently is behind 2-0, assuming this game order is correct. And so this is probably best. Never mind. I'm not going to spoil anything. Got a large smoke barrage here by the 2-inch carrier. Actually, no, some smoke, and then now using some HE onto this perhaps stormtrooper. While only 2 members, it can still be quite devastating, especially versus Bren group, who only has bolt action rifles at close range. So SMGs, especially the PPSHs, are superior. Stug now moving on forward. Did get spotted by the Recce. We'll be hitting this another Churchill 5 down. That is another massive blow. Churchill ARVE. Either way, losing 2 Churchills is a huge problem. I'm not sure why he got the second one. He knows there's a Stug. A Vet 2 Stug is lethal, but supported by officer unit, so he knows he has a Vet 3 Stug. The Stug has a base accuracy of 6. 3 stars means accuracy of 9. That is a hugely accurate assault gun. We've got some bombs coming on down. We'll hit the field gun and pin down the officer. Not all too much. Sauce trooping still here. There's still the command carrier nearby, not getting any good suppression, and there's a reinforcing AT gun, which he really does need in order to gauge the command carrier and the Honey Stewart. Why is it called Honey? Look that up. This unit is now, after using its bombs, not going to go and go for some strafing rounds. Panzer Grenadiers will spot this Recce and will annihilate them, no problem. This Panzer Grenadier, while having no Panzerfaust like you see other ones, nice kill on the Honey, by the way, still has 2 LMGs, so this is a very potent command Panzer Grenadier squad still. It even has a star. I'm not sure what that star really means. We'll kill off the field gun. We've also now got some supporting AA to help ward away against enemy aircraft. Rifles here, there are 2 squads there, so they're more likely to slot the win. However, one of these units only in light cover. And LMGs on both sides can still fire, so they both have the same amount of LMGs, just they're more supporting rifle fire. We got these SS Stormtroopers coming on forward. We'll pin down the squad that is critical. Stormtroopers, if they can get in close, will start annihilating those squads. Grand Group versus Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers are more likely to win out. They have more members, so they can replace the LMGs more often. But however, there's 2 stars in veteran seats, so that is actually huge bonus in that way. So I'm not exactly sure who will actually decisively win. Well, it won't be decisively, probably be a long, drawn-out battle. We may run out of ammo first. Using a Stormtrooper is a bit of a problem. You retarget fire to this unit, and of course now this unit is out of suppression. You need to start retargeting both of them. Yeah, actually, along with the command carrier, this Panzer Grenadier unit will lose out. Currently, field control is still in favor of the Axis player, Fussel, and at a pretty good percentage at 56%. He's gaining a lot of ground. Now we got Churchill ARVE out on the field. However, he's facing against a Vet 3 Stug. While the Stug cannot penetrate frontal at long-range armor, the Churchill ARVE only has a range of 600 meters. And take it out the Stug with enough HE, with a number of shots. However, he would need to get pretty close into the Stug's line of fire to increase armor penetration, and at that close range, he will probably have 100% accuracy. So it's best to keep the Churchill ARVE into this area. But there is also Panzerfaust from this Stormtrooper, or Stubtrooper, however you properly pronounce it. I'm just going to say Stormtrooper. It looks like Storm, partially, and Trooper. And plus, Canadians call them Stormtroopers. They have 6-man SMG, though they're not as good because PPSHs are greater than Stens and MP40s by quite a bit. That's why this unit works very effectively, and it also does have Panzerfaust. I think both Stormtroopers also have frag grenades, while the Canadian Stormtroopers have frag grenades, while this Stormtrooper has smoke grenades. Hand in hand, I think smoke grenades is probably a bit better option for it anyways. We got another bombing run hitting this Panzer Grenadier squad. We'll wipe it out. Multitude of smaller bombs. Even quite potent. We got another Stug, a Stug G now coming on the field. More armor. Same veterancy. But it's Battle Phase B. Battle Phase B has been initiated for a little over a minute. We do got a Humbar reconnaissance vehicle, well, reconnaissance transport. It does have an autocannon as well, with a lot of ammo. And it is transporting, I think it's just 2-man reconnaissance unit. Oh, the dual SMG Recce. Pack 38 lining up a shot. We'll roll a miss on the Honey Stewart. We got some mortar support as well to help in these units. We got this command carrier eyeing to hit this MG42, but is in line of sight of this AT gun, I believe. Actually, no. It's just a small tree blocking line of sight. Not only a small tree, but there's also a bit of a hedge grove there as well. Over here, do got some units being repositioned. Churchill ARV is now moving forward. There is no AT in the area, excluding the Stug. The Stug does, of course, have a range of 1,000 meters. Won't be able to penetrate the armor at a long range, at least enough warded away, causing suppression damage. SS Panzer Grenadier does have access. I believe they have access to Ju-87s, the lighter of the AT aircraft. And the Honey Stewart does in fact go down to the pack along with supporting officer unit increase in veterancy, and do got Stug 3G. Actually made nope, no AP shots around fired. So it was definitely the pack. Bar now getting some very good close range hits on the MG42. Will clean it up. Churchill ARVE is still in good ambush position, but not a good assaulting position because the Stug could do quite a bit of damage to it. Another Warfare has been fired. Fired has only 6 rounds. It is depleted ammo. Needs to get an ammo truck to replace it. We do got a flak. Actually, no, this is an AT gun. This is a PAC 43 88mm 22 arm penetration AT gun. He's probably going to eye it perhaps right around here. Very devastating AT gun moving forward. This one here, I think, is a PAC 40. We got some bombs coming on down to Shug 3. Not enough to take it out. We do got air support aircraft versus Spitfire. The Spitfire is the bomber variant. It will force a fallback after 50% suppression. We also got this Flak Irving getting some damage and could be just enough to help finish it off. But I think the Flak Wolf 190 is actually going to get some hits on. Unknown if it's going to splash it down before it retreats back. Didn't even start smoking. Ooh, something died here. Looks like a 222. Or it could be a Humbar. No, that looks like a 222. I can't really tell. Humber. Humber? Humbar? Humber. Either way. You got these units being forced back. Looks like the command 232 was in fact cleaned up. Most likely to this rifle leader's Piets. We got multiple attack beacons eyeing just to mark them down. He probably marks the AA weapon there and the artillery piece there. Very nice. Churchill ARVE has not fired a single shot yet. May not even made itself revealed at the moment. Stormtroopers are in fact still alive. Interesting. I know this is part of the campaign mission. This is actually the same campaign map where it's the last one we played in UK assaulting this hill. This is the hill from the UK map. I'm curious if like, oh, I've won this map. Let's go ahead and push forward to the next part of the map from the previous game, but it doesn't look like it. It'd be sort of interesting if they did. But you got these two Brungers getting pinned down to the field gun. Battle phase C's will be initiated in 3 minutes 45 seconds, and at that point in the game, the Axis player will have more of an advantage, or more assets, anyways. The income advantage is still now just in his favor, in which the Allied player, he's behind at the moment. He is getting a 25-pounder. He doesn't have any heavy tanks. Does have a Churchill 7, has a good amount of armor. Do got a Churchill Crocodile here and Churchill ARVE. Well, these are slow tanks, very vulnerable. He needs to take out the Stug. The Stug is his biggest problem, along with this Stug. Churchill ARVE does get a nice hit there, almost wipe out that squad in one hit. Ooh, PAC 43 fired first shot, claiming the Churchill Crocodile. That is a massive loss. Just outside of the range of Churchill ARVE, and the Churchill ARVE is in fact falling back behind the hedge grove, so he avoids any line of sight. You've got also this 25-pounder hitting the field guns. You probably should start eyeing the PAC 43 as well, but claiming that Crocodile is a huge loss. Fire Mark 9 coming for a bombing run. I'm not sure, he may be eyeing for the Nebel Warfare, but he will be forced back before it drops any bombs thanks to all nearby aircraft and the air support aircraft. But the Spitfire Mark 9 air support aircraft is now here on its tail. Main effect of the splashdown has 1-star veterancy, so he can be quite effective in a dogfight. You got a Dalamer Little John. Right, that's a very good AT unit. Kronz is also, in fact, we'll start smoking. will be forced back by the nearby aircraft. That's why he flew over in this direction, not directly backwards. Flew over his friendly A, seeing his own aircraft. It will get splashed down to the anti-aircraft. He gets splashed down to anti-aircraft. That doesn't happen very often in a 1v1 anyways. And it was just only a flak Irving variant auto cannon. That's it. And perhaps a pintle mount. I'm not sure if the Stug pintle mount was firing up against. No, it has no ammo fired. It was just a flak Irving and this autocannon. That's it. He took it out with just those units. Very impressive. Probably very lucky also. But there is a Dolomer Little John. It's basically, I best compare it to a Marauder. It doesn't have the range. Only has a range of 800 meters. Not as much accuracy. But it does have reconnaissance, have good optics to help engage. It can penetrate the frontal armor of the Stug. The Stug has 100% penetration no matter what. And has higher stars of veterancy, has much higher accuracy. And more range. But you get mortared down, mortared anyways, help increase suppression. It could just be a blind mortar trying to hit this forest area, assuming there's infantry. However, there is not. Fog of War. That's Reki spotting this Nebel Warfare. The Nebel Warfare is lining up a shot. If you can look at its angle, it's currently firing in this general direction. I think it's going to roll a bunch of misses. There's nothing much here. As far as, yeah, he's going to roll a bunch of misses because there's nothing there. One thing, ooh, gets a nice suppression hit. Those things are huge bombs. I've received a lot of HE damage. Bombing aircraft will manage to launch both spawns, wiping out the Nebel Warfare. That's pretty good. Will be forced to fall back. This aircraft does in fact also go down. This one's probably a bit better. It has 2 bombs compared to instead of this 1 bomb symbol, making it a bit more effective. At least I'm guessing. But these units will in fact get away in time. Kershaw 7 will force back to the stock strip, and not big surprise. This Little John should be severely damaged by HE. You can, if I zoom in closer, you can see he's very damaged. Kershaw ARVE has only fired 1 shot, hence why he was hit. It probably would have been a better option than those 2 Churchill 5s. Same and just as early timing, the both battle phase A units. Wonder if we would go for Churchill 5 and get Churchill ARVE. Oh, they're cheaper. That's one thing. Not as good, however. You got attack beacon, iron to counter barrage or bomb that 25-pounder to oblivion or Skyrim. We do in fact have a huge AT gun pulling what appears to be a mortar unit. This must be a heavy artillery piece. I think this artillery piece may have in fact a range of 1,400 meters. Not 1,400, 4,000 meters. There's one artillery piece that does that, if I remember correctly. I don't know if it's under SS Panzergrenadier. But we'll go ahead and find out shortly. The he beacons both of them just so he has a flare onto them so he doesn't have to worry about guessing it as, was it here or was it here? Was it here? Was it here? Oh, I want to be over here. Pack 43 still has 8 members. I don't remember what the original crew members, but yeah, had the strength of 8. If I were to click on this Panzer usually has a strength of 4. So not even losing a single man. Usually see that thing mortared to hell. Bomb to hell, or artillery to hell, rocket artillery to hell, shot to hell, or obliterated to hell by everything. 2-inch carrier out of ammo, has to still its Bren. Go ahead and fight. Here we go. This SK-18, that's what we're referring to, it has 4,000 meter range. It's a very potent artillery piece. Has 38 meteor AoE, which is even greater, has greater HE. This is one of the supreme artillery weapons on the game in the game. Oh, something I probably could always look. Here's the point of the ARVE, 150. I think the Churchill 5s may have been 110, 120. So while cheaper, but not by much. Probably it's faster. Speed's quite bad on the most Churchill tanks. And the only thing that can reach this very far range is probably aircraft. But he knows his opponent has a significant amount of AA coverage, along with air superiority aircraft, so that's not an option. This artillery will have ×2, have no contest, has no opposition in this game. Overall, the front line has grown quite quietly. The Allied player is desiring to push forward. He has not invested. Well, he has still invested in the artillery, but not at the moment. So he's probably investing into a bit more assault force. We do got a Humbar with Churchill 7 over here. Churchill ARVE can also help push around from this flank. He's going to try to push forward. The field is still in favor of the Axis player at 52% over 48. And at 1,400 tickets. He's initiated attack beacon, but what on earth can he do to bomb the area? Well, that's way off. He knows where it's coming from. Maybe it's a desync, for all I know. Very quiet moments of the game, you just hear the sound of the artillery. Something you don't want to hear, actually, if you're the Allied player. You'd love to hear if you're the Axis player at the moment. Yeah, there's nothing really much I can say. It was very well played by the Axis player, Fussel. Oh, these two members of Stormtroopers are now rushing in, using the last HE smoke grenade, ground assault. Will quickly wipe out this rifle leader. Oh no, gets wiping out himself. He's fighting two SMGs for his two SMGs. Will get cleaned up by the Panzer Grenadier unit. And that basically is a pretty big coin toss. While the PPSHs are better, it's still coin toss. They were moving at first, so they have reduced accuracy upon the move, I think. I'm not sure how effective. You can tell that quite clearly in War Game or Dragon. We do got a large bombing raid push coming in, or at least a couple bombing raids with air support. However, we do got all these air superiority aircraft now here. We've got a massive dogfight, 3 versus 2. Multiple units are currently falling back. There's just 1 2-star, 1 now. We're flying over Axis AA coverage. He needs to fall back now. But this Focke-Wulf 190 eyeing for some rear armor hits, but has 0 stars of veterancy, so will actually take quite a bit of time. Not falling back in the moment. We'll be forced back now. We're trying to go over the Camp Polston, CMP Polston, with the white Terminus. Make it smoking. We'll get splashed down. That is a big loss. One of the 25-pounders, oh no, he split them up. So he still has both of them. One of them's out of ammo, but the better for supply itself isn't fallback state. Does very long-range artillery, very problematic. AA coverage being very potent. This aircraft will in fact get splashed down. No problem. Olsens are not exactly great. They have a very low rate of fire. Tri-pistons are great, but not single pistons. So at this front line, this area has not been assaulted. Literally, no, there's only been one rifleman, well, two riflemen and a reconnaissance unit this entire game. He could have broke through no problem. Oh well. I can't really complain. Slight oversight there. He's still winning the game. Been playing a very good game, especially with these Stugs. I can say nothing really bad. He actually got another artillery piece. He has plenty of artillery. No, this is a field gun. Never mind. A very, very big field gun. We're gonna another Pack 43 coming on out. And looks like Captain has surrendered, realizing he's lost the game, making this series end in 3 in favor of Fussel, making you a winner of this series. I'm assuming the game was best out of 5, taking a decisive 3-0. Very well played by both players. Very well played by Fussel there. This is Agion saying thank you for watching and signing off.